can generalize this into a function. So let's int check path int r int c int dr, comma, int dc, and what we're just going to do here. So here's the cleverness. We're going to grab this little thing here. We are going to strip the if because that isn't going to help us there. But what we can say now is, yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to say d is always the same thing, and then we're going to say r plus dr times d, and then c plus dc times d. So what that's going to let us do is by passing in zeros, ones, and negative ones to those, we can control how each one changes as a factor of d. So up is instead going to be result plus equals check path rc plus 1, or sorry, rc minus 1, 0. Okay. And in fact, rather than doing these tests, it's slightly less, it's not even less, yeah, it's trivially less efficient. So let's not worry about it. What we're going to say instead here is we're going to say, yeah, if r plus dr times d is greater than greater than or equal to lines.length, or c plus dc times d is greater than or equal to, actually, it's not even lines.length, yeah. If r there is greater than or equal to height, or c dc d is greater than or equal to width, if we push ourselves to a row or column that doesn't exist, return 0. Okay. So now they just cancel out on their own. So for up, we're going to say up is 0, 1, 0. And now we can really clean this up a little here. All right. Result plus equals check path RC. So up is going negative in the R direction, and right is going positive in the C direction. Okay. We are going to need 8 of these. Up, right. Right is going to be 0 in the R direction. Down right is going to be plus 1 in the R direction. Down is going to do nothing there, and it's going to be plus 1 there. Down left is going to be, again, a plus 1 here and a minus 1 here. Left is going to be, again, a 0 here and a minus 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I did add one too many. That's why I'm like, hang on. Because, yeah, then up left is again going to be a -1 here and a -1 here. So there's 3 +1s and 3 -1s in each column, 2 zeros. That's what we expect. All right, return result. Let's see what happens. Ooh, index outside the bounds of the array. Where did that happen? All right. Let me just do a quick double check that order of operations is not messing with me here. It probably isn't, but you know. Nope, we're still out of bounds of the array. Okay. So one of our check paths is doing it there. Okay. Int big R equals this thing here. Int big C equals this thing here. I'm immediately going to change my mind because big R and big C are terrible names for these things. Int rcalc and ccalc. Okay. If rcalc is greater than or equal height, or ccalc is greater than or equal width, do 0. Otherwise, we do this, and it's going to be line sub. Oh, I know what the problem is. rcalc being bigger than height is not the only way that we can have a problem here. So yeah. If rcalc is less than 0, or ccalc is less than 0, same thing. Return 0. All right, now we try running that. And we found 0. Well, that's a problem. All right, let's go ahead and just print path every time we get one. Eek. Oh, for d equals lines.length. That's not right. That's our problem. D should not be lines.length. D should be target.length. Try again. Found 18 of them. 18 is what we're supposed to find, I believe. Yep. Let's get rid of that superfluous print statement going on in there, now that we've fixed the bug. And let's switch over to the real input. Value data. Rerun that. Rerun that. It says 2583, and let's see. Yep, okay, part 2. The elf looks quizzically at you. Did you misunderstand the assignment? Looking at the instructions, you flip over the word search to find that this isn't actually an Xmas puzzle, it's an X-mass puzzle, in which you're supposed to find 2 mass in the shape of an X. Within the X, each mass can be written forwards or backwards. Here's the same example from before, but this time all of the X masses have been kept instead. Are there any horizontal ones? Okay. Like what I want to know is, can I have MAS going across and MAS going down so that they form kind of a plus? Would that still count as an X mass? I want to look at the example from before. Because I don't know which way it's going to interpret that, and I would love to find an example that tells me that it is in the data, or you're like, there's, yeah, SAM. If that's a mass, but it's not crossed with a SAM, that's a SAM not crossed with a mass. Mass not crossed with SAM. Mass not crossed with Sam. It says one way to achieve that is like, I mean, that's the thing is I really don't know if they're considering if it has to be on the diagonals like this. Okay. Well, in any case, part 2. So we have this check path that can find us a pair of things, though I don't think that's necessarily how we want to do this. Okay, so let's head back up to the top, or back up to here, yeah. This little loop here is still going to be basically what we want. So again, right there, there's found 2. Okay, but now what we want to do is, yeah, find mass starting at, yep. All right. And again, we're going to have basically the same signature, except that this is find mass starting at. Okay. So the position we're looking at here has to be the pivot of the thing. So let's go ahead and write another function here. Oh no, actually no, that is the question here. Is this the pivot of a mass? So you're the pivot of a mass if thing 1 line sub R sub C. The pivot has to be an A. If lines RC does not equal A, return 0. All right. I'm just going to put a return 0 at the end of this so it doesn't yell at me. All right. So now what we want to do here is we can actually avoid having to do bounds checking here because we know we're always going to look exactly one below and one above. So we're going to start the R and C both at 1, and we're going to run them both to height -1 and width -1. So we're going to look at the pivots inside the thing, and since we always know the size is 3, that makes our life a lot easier. All right. So now what we just wanted to ask is if lines R -1, actually, hang on. So what I basically just want to do here is I'm going to bet that the pluses are legal because otherwise this problem isn't that hard. So let's start with just the crossed x's, but that's going to be pretty easy. Car UL equals lines R -1, C -1. Car UR equals lines R -1, C +1. Car BL, hey, bottom left. What did I say? Yeah, or actually DL, down left. Yeah, I like that. Equals lines R +1, C -1, car dr equals lines R +1, C +1. All right. If So what we basically want here is I want to find pairs. Um, hang on a second here. I can do something kind of fun with this. I can just look at a pair and I can say bool valid equals switch ul dr. Switch on ul dr. We're going to use a switch expression here. Hang on. C#, switch expression. Switch expressions are neat. The switch keyword, there we are. Right, oh, yes. So it's going to be uldr switch. So we're switching on the tuple uldr. Yep. And now it's like, yep, doesn't handle all possible values. So what we're going to say here is A, or not A, sorry, M S true. S M true. Anything else, false. That's a pattern matching switch expression. The underscore basically means anything. Let's just kind of, yeah, neaten up the framing there. All right. So now what I actually think I'm going to do here is, instead of that, we're going to take this, Control X. Is valid equals A comma B goes to AB switch. How do I define a lambda? Actually, no, it's just going right. Going to be bool is valid. AB. The typer name. Oh, right. Car A, car B goes to AB switch and just returns that. Beautiful. So now we just have is valid. So if is valid, upper left, up left, down right, and is valid, down left, up right. That's one form of the X. As long as they're both valid, we're good. And we just say return 1. Hey, MatrixCraft. Just doing some advent of code here. So what I like about this thing here is, so now we do all of the validity testing there has been shunted off that little function. So let's just do a quick run here. This only looks in the X configuration. It says we found 1978. I bet that's not enough, but let's go ahead and just double check they didn't give me the simple version of this problem. 1978. You used the same SMMS logic. Makes sense. That's all they wanted? They didn't even want me to check for the plus type configuration? I mean, seriously? Glad I checked. I almost made the problem harder for myself. Oh, I love this though. I love when I get to use a good pattern match. Okay, well, yeah, and part of the reason we did that was I thought I was going to have to put a second pair of those in there. Yeah, I mean, this year is beginning. Yeah, that was nice and easy. All right, well, I'm out of add-in to code for the day. So we're going to save that. Do the important ritual. What changed in the day 2 tree? Oh, language changed to polyglot notebook. Sure. And then some metadata changed on cells. Sure, I'll let that all get checked in. Day 4. Add all changes. Commit. Push it on up. Oh, we've run out of jazz. Let's go hit some more of The Comet is Coming. And I liked their second album. Let's try their first album. Okay. The Comet is continuing to come. All right, so yeah, thanks everybody who's hanging out with me for the advent of coding. No, don't save those changes. Great. Okay, so we've run out of advent of code again, which means it's time to go back into working on my actual projects. So I know if you're just here to hang out for advent of code, glad you were here. I'll be doing this again. I am doing advent of code most days. Basically every day I stream, I'm going to try to catch up with Advent of Code first, except my weekend days when I'm gaming. So if you want to see more Advent of Code from me, feel free to give me a follow. I am also a code streamer. I do program on stream. That's what I do, except on weekends when I play video games, because everybody needs a break. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 o'clock Pacific, I am always here streaming. And if you want to see that, feel free to give me a follow. But otherwise, you can also see what we do here right now, because I'm going to go into my code base. Because why not? I solved Advent of Code. We're done with that. So let's go ahead and close this copy of Visual Studio. No, don't save. Whatever changes I made, I don't need to make. That's the one thing about notebooks, is they love to kind of make changes in the background. So let's fire up Godot. All right. So we made some enormous progress on Monday. We solved something that had been a really big deal, which was figuring out how I could get a standalone build to actually properly access my resources. And we have one. So we can do a standalone build that accesses our resources. So the current stage of this project, I think, is going to be trying to take a bunch of things that are on some disparate branches and bring them together, because we have like actual results in production going on here. I'm feeling extremely happy with the state of this code base. So let's go ahead and step 1, let's just, ask this thing to fire up a C# editor. Hey, you, C# editor. I want to make sure that this branch is fully committed. Why are you so tiny, C#? Get big. We're streaming. Okay. We can go ahead and not have Godot be enormous. So here we go. And by the way, if you've got comments on Advent of Code or anything like that, feel free to continue chatting with me about it. I just don't have any more Advent of Code to write, so I'm going to get into my regular code base. I mean, I can see how you get some yakety sax energy. It is horn heavy jazz, which I like. The Comet is Coming. They've got this big energy. But yakety sax doesn't drop like that. All right. So, all right, what I want to look at here, we've got a couple of things left. Right, so we're working on the log window. Yep. We added formatted logging. I'm going to just add that. I'm going to commit that. And now we can get off this branch, because we've got a couple branches that need some love. So I'm going to push these changes up. GitHub's going to get sad at me because my tests are going to be obnoxious on this branch. But we're going to get ourselves back onto the branches where we work. So let's go ahead and, don't need AOC, don't need these things. Hey, Tristan Bedell, welcome. It is coding day here. We are working on my game because we just finished Advent of Code. Today's was nice. It was fun. It was not the hardest, which I almost wanted to make the problem harder than it was. I tried to solve a harder problem, and thankfully I just tested. I'm like, wait, is this the easy problem? Let's just test this answer, and it took it. So, cool. All right. So we need game dev, puzzle game. Let's take a look at my repo. So we've had a couple things happen here. One of the biggest ones here is I've got these two commits that my co-dev had some time to play with here. Oh, AOC and GD script. That could be fun. GD script was not my jam, and so I'm doing Godot in C#. That's kind of how I just ended up. I've fallen in with the Chickensoft community, which is a bunch of other folks who do a lot of C# and Godot. So, yeah. But all right, yeah, we got these two, including this one that's fairly old. This is from more than a month ago. So I want to get these things into the main branch so that things aren't too wild. So step one here, this thing's on perf tracing. Actually, let's go ahead and open up not VS Code, GitHub desktop. And we're on the wrong repository. Let's go back to the puzzle game repository and switch branches out to main. I like using GitHub desktop to do some of my my Git management just because it's, I don't know, it's got a nice interface. It's clean. I don't do my commits from it because it's just so easy to do my commits from here. But we're here. We have the main branch. So what we're going to do, thing one, we're going to go over to Godot, discard local changes and reload. In fact, we're going to have Godot do a full reload because it's got resources in the cache that don't exist. Don't save. Going to have Godot do a full reload. So this is, we are currently checking out main. And the goal here is before we do a significant merge like we're about to do, I want to make damn sure that main is a happy and working place. So there we go. Start it up, unfull screen it. All right, so this is actually what I build. This is the Jigsaw game. It's going to take a couple moments to load because one of my other branches has the performance code that makes loading not take forever, which we will want to land. But yeah, I think today's goal is to kind of just make sense of things. So here we are. This is working. We go in, we open up a puzzle, we start it. We have a puzzle, the pieces are chopped apart, we can rotate them, etc. But one thing, if you highlight a piece over another piece, nothing tells you these two pieces are overlapping, which is what I want to fix. That's what the branch we're about to pull in should be doing. So let's go ahead and close that. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say, so the branch that we need here, pieces render translucent highlight. This is 142 obscured pieces. So let's go ahead and say, choose a branch to merge into main, 142 obscured pieces, create a merge commit. All right. Now, I won't actually be able to push these to the remote because of how we have protection set up. But because we've done this merge here, what I just want to check is with these here now, we go back to Godot, and we rerun. Again, it's going to take a few minutes to start up, but what our goal is here is just to confirm that the feature works after being merged into main. All right, so here we are, dark energy, grid, start the puzzle, grab a piece, drag it over another piece, and now when pieces are dragged over each other, there's this little bit of a highlight that you can see. It's not necessarily the greatest. It's, you know, the beginning of a feature. You know, against some backgrounds, it's more visible than others. But the goal is to solve a problem we were seeing in some of our user testing where somebody might do this and then have trouble realizing there were two pieces there, or even worse, attach a couple pieces to each other and then completely lose track of something. So like, yeah, these two pieces are together and now they can basically completely hide that piece behind them. And now there's at least something to help you realize there's something behind them. All right, so that works. Close the puzzle. I'm going to go back here. We are not going to sync these changes up because GitHub won't let us. But what we can do is I can say we have the approved changes. And now I'm going to say squash and merge. All right. This thing, I don't need to put all the pieces of the individual things there. And we're going to do a squash and merge there. Try the new merge experience. I don't love the fact that it has the stars that sometimes mean that they're going to do weird AI things, but let's see what happens if I Try the new merge experience. Okay, I'm in the new merge experience. We'll see what happens. Nothing has... Okay, we're in the preview merge experience. We'll just see if anything matters here, but squash and merge. Nothing matters here. Confirm that. And yeah, let's just see, let's see what happens. All right, so that's been merged. And now this branch can be safely deleted, but to make our lives a little bit easier, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to go to branch 142 secured pieces. We're going to delete this branch and delete it on the remote. That's another reason I like using that, so I can make sure that a deletion action takes it out from both places. And it's been deleted. Okay. So now if we go back to my pull requests, that one's gone there. Now I do want to do one thing here on main. I would like to branch right. Can I easily roll back that merge I did from here? I should be able to. Let's just see, because yeah, we would put those all into a squash commit there. So actually, if we just say branch, there we are, repository pull. It's going to yell at me because there's some disagreements between these branches. No, it's not disagreeing. Okay. And it still thinks I've got 9 things the other one can't. All right. Let's go take a quick look over here at the history, because different tools give me different tools for dealing with history. Source control graph. Yep, there's all of that. There's the various fix-ups we have here. Actually, what we're just going to do, we're going to switch over and do this using the command line. New terminal. Just give me a command prompt, please.